great day, beautiful people. You are watching Slam Podcast, and I'm your host, Julian Vaughn. Listen, I'm going to get right into it. I quit. Yes, I'm coming to you today to tell you I quit. But it's not what you think. I quit my 9 to 5 16, 17 years ago to go full-time music. And obviously, for those of you that are aware, it was the right move. But let me take you back to that time that I made that decision, and what I was thinking and what was going on through my head, what was going on around me, just in my life in general. I had, I remember I was working a job. This place was called Chrysler Financial, right? Where work with Chrysler dealerships and people's cars and paying their car note. It was a finance company or whatever. I was doing that 10-hour shifts, 4 days a week. At the same time, I was doing some part-time at the IRS, and I was also trying to go to school and finish up my degree because I just had to finish this business degree before the age of 30, or I was going to feel embarrassed and I was going to feel like a failure. And so that's exactly what I did until it became too much. So something had to go. So this 8 to 5 had to go, and followed by soon the IRS had to go after that. And every day I was at that job or at those jobs, just feeling, I won't even call it depressed, but just feeling down, and it's one way to feel down, and it's another thing to feel that you can do better. Like that you're better than that particular situation, and that you have, I like to call it $1 million mind. You have gifts, you have talents. I'm like, why am I here? And so I remember one day I walked out of Chrysler Financial. I was like, I'm never coming back. Obviously, I did my shift. I didn't walk out in the middle of the day and quit. So I at the end of that shift, which was like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, I was like, this is it. I'm done. And by that time, I was working on my album, The Purpose Project, which was my first jazz album. You can go check it out. And I remember completing that and working on that and the things I had to do just to get that done. I was 28, 29, just foreclosed on my house. That was that time around 2008 to 2011 where the national housing crash, where everybody had these, well, not everybody, but a lot of us had these adjustable rate mortgages where it'll be maybe, let's say, $1,000, and then it'll jump up to $1,400, and then it'll may go up to $1,600, just depends. And I couldn't keep up, and I got in that house at the age of 25. No financial literacy, was never taught any financial literacy. So I had no business in the house, period. Lost my, I had a red Tahoe, 2003 Tahoe SUV, and got behind on that. And I remember them knocking on my door, asking me where the car was. And by this time, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I was beat. I was mentally beat. And at that point, I opened up that garage. I've heard stories where people will take their car and go hide it at somebody else's house or their garage, I guess until they get the payments, get the money. But I didn't have nowhere to hide and have nowhere to go. So my car was repo. So I'm coming off of a car repossession, then a house foreclosure. Had to move in with my parents. But not one time did I sit down and cry or have pity over myself. No, did I have a few days, maybe a week of depression? Of course, but I didn't stay there. I was like, well, this is not doing me any good to cry in a corner or just be depressed about it, not doing nothing, waiting for somebody to come rescue me. I knew that was not happening. So I immediately said, you know what? I enrolled in school and went got a business management and human relations degree from Mid America Nazarene College, and that was an accelerated business program. Outside of that, I had to take 27 outside credits just to graduate. Talk about brain just fried at the end. But I did that, was working at the same time I was doing that and trying to finish my album. So to finish my album, I had to sell some things. I had to, because I needed equipment. And I remember about 23, 24, maybe 22, somewhere in that time, I had just got my Ken Smith 6-string neck through peanut butter color bass. It was beautiful. It sounded amazing. I had just got that out of Layaway, and it was like $3,500. I had just got it out. Only played that bass 2 years until I realized I needed to get a computer, a Mac Tower, so I can record my songs, so I can finish this album. That was a very hard thing to do. So I sold that, traded it in from a Guitar Center, and got me that computer. I think it was Guitar Center. It was one of these places, but to get me a Mac. So, I think I did actually shed a tear. And bass players really can relate to that. So I did that, sold my washer and dryer because I wasn't going to need that if I'm moving back in with my parents. So I had to move in with my parents for 3 years. Yeah, about 3 years. And that was, that was an ego and a gut punch, an ego punch and a gut punch. Because here I am, I'm past 30 at this point. I'm 30 and I'm staying at home with my parents. You know how embarrassing that was and how that felt. But luckily I did have somewhere to go. So yeah, all that happened during that time. And so here I go, fast forward, I got this album, it's done. It's on iTunes. I submitted it to a place called CD Baby. A lot of artists and musicians know about that. I don't even know if they're still around, but got it on there, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do next. And so I'm listening to a Wayman Tisdale, his last jazz album was called Rebound, right? I'm listening to that, and he has a song on there, which was a cover song of "Never Gonna Give You Up" by by Barry White, and it's Wayman and Toby Keith. Rest in peace to both of them. Collaborated on this song, and it wasn't Toby's voice or Wayman's playing that gravitated my attention. It was the person playing the low end, because I knew it wasn't Wayman playing the low end. So I'm like, who is this guy? And I looked it up. It said Mel Brown. I was like, Mel Brown? Who is this guy? So back then we had MySpace. We didn't have Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You had MySpace. So I went to MySpace searching for this guy. I found him on MySpace. I'm like, yes. I reached out to him. I was like, hey, man, my name is Julian. I'm finishing up my album, but I want to know if you would play on the song. Now, I could have played the bass on the song. There was no problem, but I wanted him to play on the song because I just love the way his bass sounds and the way he plays on the song. So we ended up um, doing that, and he actually played on two of my songs on there, "Thank You" and "The Purpose." And and then I asked him, I was like, "Hey man, by the way, do you know a guy named Darren Ron?" He's like, "Yeah, man, that's one of my best friends." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I got this album. Um, just wanted him to check it out because I saw that he produced and played sax on Wayman's projects, and then next thing I know, Darren's playing on my project, and so, but then Darren was signed to a label. I won't mention their names, but I will be talking about them periodically through these videos. So he then submitted my album to them, let them check it out, and next thing I know, I'm being flown to Dubai to basically audition for a record deal. And so I'm in Dubai, I'm killing it, and that's where I will pick up